I now have a Ko-Fi page. Ko-Fi is where you can give me tips, maybe leave a little message to help this channel grow and help this channel build itself up. It will go towards helping me, it will go towards helping this channel, so please consider donating if you can. Thank you very much. Now, please enjoy this new podcast episode of Box of Niche. Thank you.
We are about to witness the amazing effect that Happy Eater family restaurants seem to have on people. Now, for example, Happy Eater Mixed Grill is known to produce great happiness in the knees. What's this? Happy feet. Does this mean Mum is enjoying her chicken salad, knowing that everything is really clean? And even these two businessmen are showing signs of happiness. In fact, there's good food for everybody at the Happy Eater. And as for value for money, what better proof of happiness could you ask for? The Happy Eater. Look out for the signs.
Good afternoon and welcome to Radio Lotion with your host Seijon Matukumaru, and welcome to another episode of Box of Niche. This is episode 6 of Box of Niche, where on this show I unbox, niche, and talk about it. This could be anything from history, a song, a TV show, a book, etc., etc. On today's episode, I wanted to talk about the dead restaurant known as Happy Eater. Now, Happy Eater was a chain of restaurants in England and Wales, and this chain wanted to compete against the roadside restaurant category killer at the time, Little Chef. Now, I just want to point out there was a lot of conflicting informations, and the dates were all a bit jumbled, not jumbled per se, but some of the dates were at least 1 year off. One was saying 1973, the other was saying 1972, another was saying 1971, and then 1972, and it's just, it was just chaos. But I've managed to wrangle at least as much of the conflicting information, as much as the information as possible, and wrangle what I could to make it clear and accurate, make this episode clear as and accurate as possible. So, background. In 1973, a former managing director of the hotel group Trusthouse Forte, Michael Pickard, founded the family-oriented roadside restaurant. This was aimed at competing with the Little Chef, which was established in the 1960s in the decade prior. The chain was inspired by American and French franchises Howard and Johnson and Jacques Borel, respectively. Michael Pickard was later joined by the former Trusthouse's colleague Alan Jones, who previously set up Welcome Break family restaurants. It was initially decided that Happy Eater would focus on the southeast for a while Welcome Break remained in the southwest. But by 1978, any Welcome Breaks that weren't rebranded had closed, and a new company opened up, Happy Eater, which opened up franchising opportunities in high streets, shopping centres and main roads in the southern half of England. Now, the restaurant itself did offer a little similar offerings to Little Chef, such as English breakfasts and fish and chips, but with a distinctive difference to the customers. You see, between the two chains, Happy Eater provided fiberglass animal-themed playgrounds, equipment for children, and the outlets were mainly located in the Midlands and the southeast of England, with many locations situated along the A1 corridor. Now, by 1980, Happy Eater had 21 restaurants. These were mostly existing pubs and cafes next to a petrol station, and their policy was to look for a straight road approach, easy access, and good parking. Now, at this point, Happy Eater had begun to scale up the operation with a standard building design that could be constructed quickly, and with a partnership with the petrol company Esso, this helped them find new locations. But they were aiming for the same user experience. More bright yellow colours were introduced, and most of the sites were now leased from a garage or petrol station. And a few were owned by by the petrol station themselves, or or one was franchised. Now, 2 older branches joined their sister chain, the Picard Motor Hotel. And a report found that the average spend on a meal in 1986 was about £3, with their hamburgers priced at $2.75. A meal which they encouraged visitors to have as it became increasingly popular. Now, in 2026, this would have been about £9 now, and the hamburgers would be around £8. Yeah, I know that's a depressing statistic, but inflation, and I'm pretty sure in 2026 those meals will be a lot smaller now at a higher price too, because of shrinkflation, which is where they inflate the price but the offering they give is smaller, which is an unfortunately popular tactic, but that's how things are now, but hopefully things will change. Anyway, soon they were already owning like 220 little chef restaurants, and the monopoly mergers and commissions were called in to investigate their purchase of Happy Eater, because they were kind of worried that Little Chef and Happy Eater being merged together would cause problems, because there would not be any competition anymore and it would just take over the entire thing. But they concluded that this takeover was no threat to public interest, as new restaurants still could enter the industry. And Forte developed Happy Eater as an upmarket brand, including a new styling in May 1989 that was much less formal, offering customers a variety of seating, including stools and sofas, known as the Mark II era of Happy Eater. This was trialled at their Peterborough and Colesworth locations, and by contrast, Little Chef was a more common man's brand, and one that Forte appeared to prioritise. By 1991, the menu charged 75p for a cup of tea, around £2 in 2026, £2.90 for a burger and chips and dessert, about £7 today, £1.50 for pancakes and maple syrup, which is now £4 now, and these prices were much cheaper than Little Chef's offering, and it also offered more variety with bold options like breaded baby, sweet corn and chili con carne, and passion cake and chocolate pudding. Well, sounds like a very nice variety, if I say so myself. I've never had those, to be honest, but they do sound nice. I've had chocolate pudding, but I've never had anything as nice as that so far. But you never know, it's never too late to try anything whatsoever. So yeah. Now, Happy Eater soon became a common sight in the 1980s. There were ads, you would see the signs, of course, on roadside stations. But Forte then considered Happy Eaters mentioned to be an upmarket brand, which they owned, and Happy Eaters were a little bit more spacious than their siblings, the Little Chef, and they had better play areas, they had separate kitchens, and the play areas were made by a design and creation team which normally did pubs, and each restaurant had a yellow theme with yellow light shades hanging from the roof, and yellow formica tables with bright red plastic edging and steel legs, and even children caps and badges saying "I'm a Happy Eater," as well as partnership with Lego and other games, and a cassette called Mr. Happy's Fun Tape, which was sold in partnership with Chessington Zoo, while sponsorships included Happy Eater Rally, and Parents Magazine declared Happy Eater the best restaurant for the chain for families in 1983, and the Daily Mail said it was the best roadside restaurant chain in 1991. Happy Eaters were especially busy on Sundays, as families would head out of town for the day. On weekends, the trade were mainly come from businessmen. The meals included the Happy Eater Fast Fry, the Banger Bake, and fish and chips, while children's meals included the Dog's Delight, Little Porkers, and Mr. Happy's Ice Cream. And children were soon to the key of their marketing. Now, in terms of famous people, who has eaten there in terms of famous people? Well, there was Princess Diana and the young Prince William, who visited the Ashwick branch in 1990, and the following year, the brand soon became associated with the, at the time, Prime Minister John Major, who was seen dining at one while on his way to a speech, and reportedly visited regularly. Then there was Princess Michael of Kent, who in 1985 on the 3rd of April was flown by helicopter to open the 50th Happy Eater restaurant at Wisley on the A3. Now, decline. Unfortunately, there was of course a decline, as they no longer exist nowadays. So what exactly happened and what was the decline? Firstly, Trust Forte was bought out by Granada in 1996, who said Happy Eater and Little Chef were tired, and Granada believed in the power of strong brands and economics on a scale, and decided that there should be one roadside chain that they would promote relentlessly. They decided that this would be Little Chef, and all the Happy Eaters were immediately converted to Little Chefs. This will prove challenging for Little Chef, as some of the Happy Eater locations were originally built to compete with Little Chef, as some of the which meant now, of course, now the restaurants were directly now competing with themselves, and this ultimately meant Little Chef would close many locations throughout the 2000s as a result of falling profits. This meant now that there was an oversaturation of Little Chef restaurants, including some branches that originally opened to compete with each other, and this of course led to mass closures of the restaurant. Now, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, Granada? As in the company that made old ITV shows? You know, Granada, the logo that you would see at the end of those old ITV shows in the end credits. There'll be a black screen and then there would just be that purple ident of Granada, and yes, it is indeed that same Granada. You see, Granada was a conglomerate, which meant it was not just television, it was other things. It had other brands under its wing. They had Granada Television, Granada was a conglomerate that was a partner of Granada Television, and they had a media business, a TV rental business, and a catering business, which of course included the rival operator Welcome Break, which was later sold due to regulations, and the roadside chain, of course, Little Chef and Happy Eater, and Forte's hotels, including Travelodge and Le Méridien. Now, in 2000, Granada merged with Compass PLC to form Granada Compass PLC as part of a strategy to separate Granada's media and catering interests. This demerger took place in the early 2001, with the media business soon becoming Grand LD, and the motorway service stations were soon rebranded to Motto motorway service stations, which still operate today. In fact, I've been to a Motto service station at least once or twice on car journeys. I used to go to University of South Wales, and this was a station which would pass regularly. I've been there with my dad, and it has very nice offerings, but it has like a small seating area, and then you've got the KFC on one side, and then you've got like some shops and other things, and you've got a place where you can eat katsu chicken, which I used to just grab and eat, or just go to the KFC side, and it was really nice. But I think looking at this, you don't really get the cozy little Happy Eater thing you get anymore, like a cozy restaurant. It doesn't feel like corporate branded, so to speak. There's no like black or white, or there's no like minimalist aesthetics and vibes. There's no like simple corporate branding, color schemes and design. It's just designed to be as corporate as possible, and just to treat the customer as more of a product than a person, which is a real shame, because I think having cozy little places where, you know, there will just be little curtains on the window, or the tables are look like picnic blankets or something or other, all the chairs are like from 50s American diner. I don't really feel you get those kind of things anymore. It's just all about corporate synergy and branding, and just making things look dull as possible. Like McDonald's used to be like a really colourful place, and then it used to look like a really colourful place, and now it's just dull and soulless. Now we're getting off the off-beaten track on that little tangent, sorry. It's just that when I saw Motto, I remembered some stuff. But yes, coming back to this, the company agreed to a corporate takeover and became Colton Communications in 2004. Colton did some lot of kids cartoons and stuff. If you're a kid of a certain age, you might remember seeing their logo on CITV, but they soon became ITV PLC on the 2nd February 2004, and they're now operating courses ITV PLC to this day. They're part of ITV. But as for the Happy Eater name, in the UK now, they're owned by the Co Food Group in Kuwait following the liquidation, and it has been decided to monetize Little Chef and Happy Eater brands. But until January 2018, and the Little Chef licensing name was stopped by that point, and then the group closed their UK offices in 2020, and now that means the Happy Eater trademark itself is now registered in Kuwait. Legacy. Legacy. So, what about the Happy Eater legacy? What legacy has it left behind, or established during its time? Well, in the 1986 film Mona Lisa, it featured a scene in the film Mona Lisa in 1968. It featured a scene in a film which was filmed in a Happy Eater. The 1989 video game Fast Food was originally intended as a promotional tool for Happy Eater. The 2007 film Rise of the Foot Soldier used a location depicting the former Basildon branch of Happy Eater set in the late 1980s. And between July and August of 2018, there was an art exhibition based on the Happy Eater brand, which was held at Taco in London. The 2020 Amazon series Truth Seekers features an abandoned Happy Eater restaurant in its 5th episode, The Curse, in 2020, which recreates a Happy Eater for a scene in its last episode. In November 2022, Loungers announced that they were launching Brightside to fill the gap in the market created by the demise of Little Chef and Happy Eater. And in February 2023, they opened their first location in a former Happy Eater building situated near the Exeter Racecourse. Happy Eater's early days was stated as one of the inspirations for the restaurant chain Brightside, which was launched in February 2023. And in 2025's film 28 Days Later, this film features a derelict shell garage with a Happy Eater restaurant attached, and they even have a track on the film which is called The Happy Eater, which features an orchestral score for the film done by the Young Fathers. Conclusion. So, as we close up this box of the episode Box of Niche, I think it's pretty interesting looking at this and how this seemingly simple place went through some simple beginnings to being tied up in corporate greed, and then having them and their rival being owned by the same company is just a great example of how corporate greed could just easily kill a company like this. I mean, there are just lots of mergers happening right now, like Warner Brothers and Paramount are trying to merge together. I don't know if it's gone through at the time of this, but it sounds like a bad idea because they're literally two of the biggest film and TV companies, and it's just insane to think those two would just be under the same breadbasket, so to speak. But then again, when I was younger, there used to be Comet, PC World, and Curry's, and then now it's just Curry's after they merged with PC World, and they're just one massive electronics store. And right now it's the only one I can think of. I mean, yeah, you have Amazon and other things, but now Curry's is the go-to electronics store now. There's no PC World, there's no Comet even though our television is literally from 2008 and it's still going, so that is quite unfortunate. But on the flip side, it is nice to see how fondness and nostalgia for this place kept it alive in people's hearts and minds, and it's still talked about through some people. And it's pretty interesting how, as mentioned through the legacy part of this episode, how people have just started referencing it and just referencing it, even though it's long gone now. These people probably have fond memories of being at a Happy Eater, maybe. But you know, I think that's a nice thing. I'm pretty sure I saw a Happy Eater t-shirt on Black Mirror as well, and I know some people thinking it was a fictional place from outside this country, bless them, but once they realized that it used to be a real place, they're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I don't think it can be a bad thing. I know some people will say, oh, nostalgia is a bad thing, you're getting stuck in the past and you just gotta let it go, and sentiments like that. But honestly, sometimes, and this is sometimes, nostalgia isn't a bad thing, because sometimes it's just all that's left of a place that is gone, or something or other like a place is just gone. Like Happy Eater was just a place that was around, and then through the 90s and 2000s it just vanished, and what's left of the place? Warm and fond nostalgia. But you know, that isn't bad, because at the end of the day, when something like that is gone, that's all that's left. Warm and fond nostalgia that's just been left in the dust of a place that's been long gone, or something lost to time. So yeah, warm and fond nostalgia. Sometimes it's just never a bad thing. And on that note, I bid you farewell. Until the next time. Thank you so much for listening to Radio Lewisham. I have been your host, Seijo Mutakamoru, and I bid you a farewell. A huge thank you to Kajiki, who I commissioned to make the background for this episode of this podcast. So a huge thank you to them for all the hard work on this background and putting it together, and doing just something a little different for this episode. So a huge thank you to them. Their links for their link tree will be in the description below. So thank you so much.